Okay, yesterday we saw a Mishnah. The Mishnah had three clauses. The first clause was Hiskachi li b'tamrizu, Hiskachi li b'tamrizu. It was two separate lashonos of Kidushin. Therefore, each one independently would have to have a shava pruta in order to facilitate Kidushin. If either one, let's say each one had a half, it won't work because the Kidushin separated the two. Second clause, bezu, ubezu, ubezu, then they would be mitzvah together. Third clause, if she's eating then if you have to have ba'achas a shava pruta, you have to have in one of them a shava pruta. The Gemara asks that last clause, where's it going on? Is it going on clause number one of iskachi, or is it going on clause number two, bezu, bezu, bezu? And in that we saw machlokes rishonim. According to Rav and Shmuel, it's going on the first case, iskachi. The Gemara asked the kasha, l'chara, it's even if it's a shava pruta, even if you didn't eat it, you just need it left over. You need the lashon of kedushin associated with the shava pruta. Forget about achila, afilu menachas. Says the Gemara, you had a havamina that you would need less than a shava pruta. Even the hirva hanasai, she had hana by eating. You need less than a shava pruta. We saw the bottom toisvis that a tzricha can be kal, even though it's not such a strong svara. We saw Rav Ami. Rav Ami said it's going on the last case. Bezu, bezu, bezu. Here's the problem. Since the Kidushin is only chal at the end, when you ate the first one or the second one, that was begeda halva. She owed him money. So how in the world could she be mikudeshes? In other words, if even the end, let's say each one was a third. She ate 2/3. That 2/3 are halva. So how could she mikudeshes? Even if you're mitzvah, at the time of the chalos of the Kidushin, you do not have the full amount of a pruta. And for the Gemara, you're right. That achas, it's going on the last. There's an adjoinder. You have to have in one. You have to have a shava pruta. Where in the last one? Okay, we illustrated that loy Ravami. It's shver the lashon because Ravami should say achrona. If you have a shava pruta b'achrona, right, not in one of them. And according to Rav, it's again this svara Rav and Shmuel of less than a shava pruta just because you ate it is a shver svara. Those are the two shittas we saw yesterday, and then along the way we discussed other things. So we're going back to that. So Amar Rava loy shanu on the bottom we're on mem vav amid base. The last two words Amar Rava loy shanu. Guys, when you're learning, you always have to know what loy shanu is, and Rashi will always tell you. Lo shanu, we did not learn. Says Rashi, Lo shanu heicha da eichlas rishayna the aim mitzvah from the pruta. In other words, the clause number one of our Mishnah, where the two lishonos of Kedushin do not combine. Correct? So Rava is going back to give an addendum to that clause. What does he say? Lo shanu that you need a pruta in each and every one because he used the lashon of Kedushin. Elo da'amar laha. Bizu, ubizu. Be mekudeshes to me in this one, or this one. Aval amala be'elu. If you said iskachi li, right? Be'elu, go ahead and be mekudesh. You know what? I'm not sure I said it right. I'm not sure it's going on the first case. Excuse me. We said that last clause number 3. Let's go back. Clause number 3, we said it's not mitzarif, right? Unless you have in the last one, is when the Kidushin is chal in the end, right? So it's going on that clause. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's get that crump shot out of your head. It's not going back on the first. It's the last clause. That last clause that you said that the 3, it has to have what they combine together, and if you eat the first 2, you have to have one of the last one. It's only if you use lashon bezu. Why do you say hiskachi be'elu? Be miskudeshes with these 3. You didn't say bezu sequence 1, 2, 3. You said be'elu, these. You know when the Kedushin skal, guys? Right away. So even if you ate it, you would be mikudeshes, mitzdarif. Because at Shasta Kedushin, you had a shava pruta combine the 3 of them. Ari, this is what we discussed yesterday with you, right? This will be the case. So now, bezu. Aval amala be'elu, be mikudesh to me with elu, these. Afilu achlis nami mikudeshes. Even if you ate it up, you mikudeshes. Why? Because the Kidushin was chal right away. And ki ka'achla, and when she's eating it up, bidin nafsha ka'achla, she's eating up her very own. She's eating up her very own. So very nice lumdish Gemara, a dakas dikachilik. In the case where you said be'elu, 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 the Kedushin's only chal over here, part 3. Eating 1 and 2 would leave me what with the need for a shavaput in 3, because 1 and 2 are begeder a halva already. However, that's only because the Kedushin's chal at the end. On the other hand, if you'd say 3, you have 3 tamarim, and you say bimu kudeshes me with elu, with these, and you give it to her, then she would, even though you don't give it to her, it's right in front of her, and she eats 2. You do not need a full shavapruta in the latter, because when you said be'elu, right then the Kedushin's chal, and at that point the 3 are mitzaref to be a full pruta. Good. Yes,
you could even just eat 1. You could eat 1 or 2 or 3. It doesn't matter.
Nothing to do. Again, exactly right.
To do with eating.
It not again. In other words, you might think like the first case. If I eat 1 and 2, and in the last one I don't have a shava pruta, so I'm not. No. And the lumdus is because you were mekudeshes before 1. So of course, again, it's irrelevant. The kedushin took place. That's the be'elu. That's the distinction between bizu, 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 be'elu. It's so again, exact same case, different lashon. Bizu, bizu, kedushin at the end. You better have a shava pruta. Be'elu, kedushin at the beginning. You have it already. That's it. Beautiful. Says now the Gemara is going to go ahead and prove that. The Gemara is going to go ahead, Rod, and prove that. We have a brisa that's a raya to Rava that be'elu you would not need to have in the end. Very not an easy brisa, guys. There's nothing easy about these dafim. Nothing. Hiskat shili bimukudeshes to me be'alon be'rimon ube'egos. An alon, the art's called taich, an acorn. Rashi said it's something you feed to a pig, and sometimes they would roast it, and I don't know. Maybe a chestnut, I was thinking, maybe, but chestnuts. Anyway, berimon, or a rimon is a pomegranate, ube'ego is a nut. So you makadesho with these 3 things. Oy sha'amala hiskachili be'elu. Okay. So in other words, there's 2 clauses there. You said be'elam berimon be'egos. The Gemara is going to have to get back to that. Or you said the word elu. What's the din? They're mitzaref. If you have in all of them a shava pruta, they're mitzaref. The imlav, and if you don't have a shava pruta among them, enu mukudeshes. What happens if you say the lashon bezu ubezu ubezu? Im yesh bekulam shava pruta mukudeshes. If you have in all of them a shava pruta mukudeshes. Now this is the same psak. We're going to see in the end of the Gemara why they had to be separated. It's the same psak. Bezu, bezu, bezu. Em yesh bekulin shava pruta mekudeshes. Em la be'enem mekudeshes. Third clause. Bezu not lasai v'ach lasai. Bezu not lasai v'ach lasai. V'od bezu. And she enu kudeshes. Ad shei ba'achas men shava pruta. You need a shava pruta in one of them. Now going back over the brisa. Hay ba'aloin ba'romin ba'ogas hechadami. Clause number 1. What are we speaking about? Either with this, either with this, either with this. And it's not far to say that they combined. You said either this one, or this one, or this one. In other words, that's similar to hiskachi. In other words, each one's separate. So you can't say if you have all of them combined. So that can't be the case of Allah and Rima and Egos, correct? It can't be that you divvy them up. Ella, it must be the Allah uber Rima and Egos. It must be bimukudeshes me with this, this, and this. So hainu bezu bezu. That's clause number 3. That's clause number 3. And right. So why are you repeating a case? There'll be no need to repeat it, right? We said bezu bezu. Elolav, the Amala, be'elu. So going back over the brisa, guys, let's go up to line number 4 of the Gemara from the top. Be'elu, Be mikudeshes me be'elu be'ilon be'olon be'riman be'egois. So you said the lashon of elu. Good. Now continue along. Oisha amalei skachli be'elu. There's your problem. If you're going to say that olon riman egos is speaking about elu, in the same breath you're saying oh skachli be'elu. So we're stuck. What exactly is the case out of olon riman and egos? What is it? If it's oy, it doesn't work. If it's this one, it's bezu. If it's elu, your elu is clause number 3. So we're stuck. What exactly is the case of elu rimam negois? Says the Gemara. I'll tell you what the case is. Let's get the kasha first. I mean, kani seifa oy shamli skachli be'elu mechal dereisha la be'elu askinan. And for the Gemara, proof should come in farish. Very good. Clause elu, guys, is clause 1a. It's clause 1a. Alan rimam ve'egois. What does that mean? Hiskachli be'elu. Oh, okay, now. Mechal dereisha la be'elu askinan. So proof should come in farish. Hiskachli be'olon berinam be'egois. Ketzad, and what's the lashon that you used? Going to amalo hiskachli be'elu. Ukitani seifa, and we learned in the seifa. Bizu not lasai v'ach lasai. If you eat this one, and then in yesh b'achas min shavar prutim mikudeshes. Mashma, guys, in the reisha be'elu, if you would have eaten, you would be mikudeshes, even if it does not have a shavar pruta. Dafka in the seifa, bizu not lasai, you needed a shavar pruta in one of them. The inference was, in the first case, be'elu, you mikudeshes, right? We mikudeshes, and yesh bekulan. Why? I ate it. Doesn't make a difference. Because if you use the lashon be'elu, the Kidushin's right away, and this is the raya to Rava. This is the lamdish raya to Rava. V'imlav enu mikudeshes. V'ilu b'reisha like hamiflik bein acheles l'menachas. The ratio we don't make a chilik between eating and leaving, and that's why we had to lose guys learn as a separate case. We learned 2 cases that you could have mixed up in yesh b'kulan. In this case over here, by the bimu kudeshes to me with these 3 things. Doesn't make a difference if you eat it. It doesn't make a difference if you leave it over, right? However, bezu, in the case of bezu, it would nafkamina, you wouldn't be able to eat it. It have to be left over. If you ate it up, then it would not work. You'd have to have the shava pruta in separately. Okay, it says shmamina kol hechdama be'elu ki ka'achla midinafsha ka'achla shmamina. You have a good raya. Okay, outside. Let's see the raya outside quickly. We're going back on the Mishnah, on the 3rd clause of the Mishnah, that if you eat something, you have to have a shavar pruta left because the Kidushin's chal in the end, so you have to have in the last one. That's stuff you say bezu. If you say the word elu, it doesn't make a difference. Whether you eat it or leave it over, it's going to work. Why? Because Kidushin's right away and Mekadesh is right away. We're bringing a raya from a clause from a case of aloin, rimoin, and egois, where it says if you have among all of them a shavar pruta, it works. And we said the second clause that says elu is defining the first clause, and therefore it says if you have a combination among them, you don't need a shavar pruta in singularly. You can combine them. How can you combine them? The elu. So there's no difference if they're still around or not around. Once you mekadeshes be'elu, as long as there's shavar pruta, you're good. How do you know that? Because in the last case it said bezunat lasle, and then we needed a shavar pruta in the last one because you ate it and you didn't use the word elu. Kamash like Rava, if you use the word elu, then what? Then it's considered Kidushin in the beginning, and you're good. How are we doing? Baruch Hashem. Anyway, says let's finish off this clause and then get to the more difficult Gemara of the day. You just thought it was safe to go back in the water, huh? Says the Gemara. Now, okay, guys, outside a pitch of. Let me give you the Gemara outside. A pitch of God. We had 2 ways to explain our Mishnah. Remember, there's 3 clauses in our Mishnah: hiskachi, bezu, and if you eat eicheles, okay. We said what was the eicheles going on? Rabbi Shmuel said it's going on hiskachi. Shmuel and Ravami said it's going on the case of what? Of elu. Okay, hiskachi, guys, is a prat. It's more specific. Be mukudeshes to me with this. Be mukudeshes to me with this. That's what Rabbi Shmuel said. Ravami said it's going on the klal. Bezu, 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 not distinct. In bezu, bezu, bezu on the cloud. We just did a brisa. Who would the brisa come out well according to? In our brisa, guys, there was no mention of a prat. There wasn't bezu, there wasn't hiskachi, breaking it up. It was all derech cloud. Berimoin dadant, right? That's beilu be'elu. So really, the brisa comes out very good according to Rav Ami, who says that the explanation of the brisa and the Mishnah, which are synonymous, will be going on a general term, not a specific term. But like Rav Shmuel, iskachi, where do you have the specifics? Where do you have it broken up? The prat, and the Gemara is going to answer. It's that din of not lasa v'achloi is speaking according to Rabbi. Rabbi who says the word kizayis. So kizayis is a prat. So it's Rabbi in a sugya in Kodshim, right? In sugya in Zvachim, where Rabbi says that even you say kizayis or vikazayis, it becomes a skachi. So the teretz to the Gemara is like Rav and Shmuel. The last clause is according to Rabbi, and everything is fine. Says the Gemara. Very good according to Rav Ami, who said the achlasa is going on the seifa be'elu. Umay achi be'achas men shavar pruta, achi be'achrein shavar pruta. You would need a shavar pruta in the end because the first two once you eat them is a halva. Hachanami achi be'achrein shavar pruta. The last clause over here, not lasa v'achlasa, not lasa v'asa, be speaking where you have a shavar pruta in the end. El Rabbi Shmuel Domit Shabayu Areshakoi. They both say it's going in the case of iskachi. By chlasa, it's shlichalei. And you need a chlasa to tell me that even when you have hana, right? You're not mekudeshes less than a shava pruta, right? In other words, it's going back to the original pshat of Rabbi Shmuel and Rav Ami in our Mishnah. Hacha klali kachoshiv. Over here in the brisa, there was only bezu, which is a klal. Prati hiskachi like kachoshiv. So how could Rabbi Shmuel learn pshat in the brisa? After the Gemara, how many Rabbi he? That last clause is according to Rabbi. The Amar Leishna Kazayas. It doesn't make a difference if you use the word in a machshava of pigel of Kazayas without a vav. Leishna Kazayas vikazayas pratahi. It's to be considered a prat. So if you use lashon zu, it's considered a prat, similar to iskachi, and everyone was happily ever after. Okay, in the yeshiva, when we got to Daf Vav, they would say the word mekadesh b'milva. And for the rest of the year, that's where you were stuck. It was the biggest sugya, in probably the most famous sugya in Kidushin. We spoke it out, that in other words, you can't be Mekadesh b'milva. Why? Because milva light son nitna. If you go ahead and you give a person a money, you say, here, this money is yours. This money is yours. And then you say, I'll be Mekadesh you with that money. Ain't a Mekudeshes, because you didn't give her anything. If you're mekadesh with the mechila of the chayv, that she doesn't have to pay it back, then you would be mekudeshes, right? Because then you gave her something. She doesn't have to pay it back. But I want to be mekadesh to you with the money I gave you yesterday. And you still have that same money in the house, the same $100 bill with the same Ben Franklin and the same serial number on it, the exact same one. You're not mekudeshes. Why? Because milva lo hitzadnitna. Once it was given to her, it's hers to do whatever she wants with it. Good? So that's Rav's din. That's Rav's din. Today we're going to attack Rav. This is like this. Today we're going to attack Rav. How can Rav say milva what mekadesh milva and mekudeshes? I'll show you cases that's mekudeshes, and we want Rav is going to end up being a machloikas tanoim. And again, the last thing an amoira wants to do is be subject to a machloikas tanoim. Good, says the Gemara. Amar Rav, hamekadesh b'milva and mekudeshes. Why? Milva loit son nitna. The purpose of a milva is like to go ahead and give out, use it, and therefore he didn't give you anything. Name a kit hanoi. Let's say Rab's din is in machloikas tanoim. Hamekadesh bin milva, ein mikudeshes, v'yesh omrim mikudeshes. The yesh omrim say you are mikudeshes. My lav b'hakamifli. Here's the svaras of machloikas. The masava milva loit sadnitna. And therefore, the Tanakama would hold Einu Mekudeshes, Umasava, and the Yesh Omrim would hold Milvu Lav Lo Hitzadnitna. So, L'chayr Rav would be arguing on a Yesh Omrim. Okay, guys, let's stop and think a second. Let's go beyond the Daf Yomi. Let's eye contact. Flash flood. This is dangerous and life-threatening. Do not travel. Wonderful. Okay, anyway. Bez Hashem. Listen up. What does it mean, milva lavleit son inu? So I gave you money to do what? It's nice words, but it makes no sense. If I can't do anything with it, what do you mean, lavleit? What does it mean, milva lavleit son inu? Bishleim leit son inu mean it's mine to do whatever I want with it. What would lavleit son inu mean, right? Obviously, you borrowed the money for something. So let's make a diak from Rashi what it is. Rashi tells us, let's look at Rashi, lohait son nitnu, the second wide line down. Lohait son nitna, halayva rishoy loitzia, v'hoitza, he has him shus to go ahead and invest in hoitza, whatever he wants. Ve'ena chayev laha'amida be'iska, and he's not mechayev to keep it in a business, shetei mitsuya b'chol eish yitvena, that it should be around anytime he's toiveya. So here we have the pshat, guys. What would it mean milva lavleit sonitna? I'm lending you money, but there are strings attached. I want to know where that money is going to, and that's an investment that guaranteed that if I want that money back, I can get it back. So in other words, lemashal, you got a good rate on a CD. You get a good rate on a CD, and you're going to borrow $10,000 to invest for 6 months at 5%. Milva lavleit son mitna means that would work. You know why? Because I know at the end of 6 months, I can get back the $10,000. You will have made your 5% on the $10,000. I can get that back. Milva lavleit son mitna means I'm not limited to a CD. I can do anything I want with it. So that, according to Rashi, gives us a little bit of shot in something. Milva lavleit son. You say the words, they don't make any sense if you think about it for a second. So that would be milva lavleit son. You can't do anything you want with it. I need a little guarantee that when I want that money, albeit down the road a little bit, in my scenario of 6 months, I could get that money. Guys, you good? That's milva lavleit son. That would be milva lavleit. No, it's not do whatever you want with it. So l'chayra, getting back to us, it's Rav is entering a machlokes b'shainim tanoim. According to the Yesh Oimrim, that what you are mikudeshes. You're mikudeshes because the money is there. You get the money that is lavleit son nitna, since it's there, right? It's there, and you're giving her that money. It's there. It's right here now. It's not, you can't say I'm not giving you something. I am giving you something by telling you that CD, right? You don't have to return to me. You don't have to return to me. You're getting something. It's there for you. Says the Gemara Vayta. V'tizbra ema seifa v'shavim v'mecher shezeh kana. They agree by mecher if you're kind. You have a chayv by somebody and you want to buy something from that someone. You say, listen, I'm not going to give you money. The halva that I have by you should be the money for that mecher. If you're going to tell me milva son, again, you didn't give anything. How can you buy anything? So they both agree that you're kind. So Rav Nachman, this machlokes between the Tanakam and the Yesh Oimrim, we're going to zet sign not in the normal way. We thought until now it meant you had an existing halva, and the question is, are you giving her something or not? If loit son nitnu, you're not. If lav loit son nitnu, you are. Good? That's not the case. That's not the case. Here's the case. Here I'm being mekadeshes you with a mana. A mana is 100 dinar. You're a mana short. It's 99. Are you mekadeshes or not? On that last one, there's a din of a halva. She's expecting 100 dinar. She only got 99. So you're a bal chov on one. Are you mekudeshes with that or not? Like the man the Amar that you're not mekudeshes is because she is too embarrassed to ask for it. So she's not samich das that she's going to get the full 100. Like the Yesh Oimrim, she's mekudeshes because she's not embarrassed and she will ask. Good, and therefore she's getting the full amount. That's the case. So it's not the case of traditional mekadesh removal that we've been discussing till now. It's a different halva. It's a leftover money, whether she has the ability or the wherewithal to go ahead and make that claim. Says this is the case of Rav Nachman that says, quotes Rav Huna. Be mekudesh to me with a mana, which is 100 dinar. It's short. He only gave 99 dinar. Ma Savar Tanakama holds she's embarrassed to ask for it, and therefore she's not Saimech Das. You did Kidushin on 100. I only got 99. I'm not going to ask you for that other one. Since I'm not getting my 100, I'm not Mekudeshes. Uma Savar Yesham says, like Sifal and Milsa limit fayed. She's not embarrassed limit fayed to go ahead and meet Taveya, and therefore she's Saimech Das. So right now, that halva that's there, I'm going to ask for it, and it's not a problem. But this has no bearing on Rav. And therefore, Rav is not a machloikis tanoim. The way we're setzing it in, this is not the classic Kidushin Milva, and Memela, Rav can come out l'kuli alma. The Elahada Amar Rebbe Law, so we had this come earlier in the Masechta. His skachli b'mana b'mekudeshes to me with a mana v'nasan la dinar, and he gives her 1 dinar, and he leaves over 99. Harizum mekudeshes, she's mekudeshes v'yashlim, and you pay up what the 99. Leimikit hanoi am l'shmaitza. Let's say the sugya will be a machlokes tanoim. In other words, according to the Tanakama, she should not be engaged. Why? Because she's too embarrassed to ask. Right? 100 to she's too embarrassed. What's the answer, guys? If you owed 1, 99 you got, you owed 1, you're embarrassed to ask for the 1. If you get 1 and you owe 99, you're not embarrassed. So even the Tanakama would be moidem mekudeshes. Because she's Saimech Das, she's going to ask for the 99. That's the difference, says the Gemara. Ami, mana chasadina, ksefala milsa limitfei. A mana, 100 less 1, she is what? She's embarrassed to ask for the 1. Mana chasatisha v'tisha, a mana missing 99, like ksefala milsa limitfei, the Tanakama would be moida yomikudeshes. Okay, we again want to prove that Rav is a machloikis tanoim. Okay, Rav said mekadesh b'milva is ena mekudeshes. We want to say it's machloikis tanoim. Meisene ha'imel isha hiskachi li b'pikadin sheyesh li biyadcha. Be mekudeshes to me with the pikadin sheyesh li biyadcha, that what there is to me in your hand. Be mekudeshes to me with the pikadin sheyesh li biyadcha. V'holcha. So you entrusted her to watch something. Say that thing that I gave you, be mekudeshes to me. So he's giving her something now. The pikadon he's giving to her. However, she goes and she finds that it's no longer there. In the shtari men shava pruta, if you have a shava pruta left from that, mekudeshes, v'mlav ein mekudeshes. Good. So pashtus, guys, you have an object, it's worth 10 prutas, it's stolen or lost, and you only have 1 pruta left. So you gave her a pruta, classic shava kesef, works. Perfect, no problem. Ube milva, however, the same scenario in milva, afal pisha loy nishtari menu shava pruta, even if you don't have a shava pruta left over, then mikudeshes. Be mikudeshes to me with the halva I have by you. She goes, checks, there's no money left. She's mekudeshes. Mamish contradictory to Rav. Mamish contradictory to Rav. Okay, now we're going to prove that this line is not correct, fellas. We're going to go ahead and say this brisa was not a correct brisa. Pirish. We know the brisa, the lashon of brisa is from bar. It means outside. When Rabbi codified the Mishnah, again, it was all Torah Shabbat Peh, he brought everyone together to get the correct text. And Ravina and the Amoraim, when they went through the brises, they also made things very correction. Sometimes the brisa is corrupt, and therefore it's not going to be a question because this brisa is corrupt. And this is the corrupt one in the brisa, as we're going to see. Okay? It says over here, Mekadesh Memilba is Mekudeshes, even if you're not left over anything. So let's go over. Says the Tanakama, Bibikadin, if you have left over a Shava Pruta, yeah. Bimilba, even if you don't have left over, yeah. Shimon Elazar says, Mishum Reb Meir, milva, how you can be kadin. A milva is like a pikadin, pirish, that only if you have left over are you mekudeshes. But if not, you're not. Now, both, again, so where's the machlokes? Machlokes is how do you view a milva? Do you view milva like a pikadon or not like a pikadon? The Tanakama viewed it not like a pikadon, and Rav Shimon ben Elazar viewed it like a pikadon. And now, do both of these Tanoim hold Mekadesh b'milva works? They both hold Mekadesh b'milva works. Both of them are holding Mekadesh b'milva works. The shaila was, do you need money left over or not? So Rab's got a big problem. It's not only as a machlekes Tanoim, he's got two Tanoim who say he's wrong. He's got two Tanoim saying Mekadesh b'milva is Mekudeshes. One to the extreme that even if you have nothing left over, it's Mekudeshes, and the other one that what? Even if you don't have left over. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so both the Tanakama and Rav Shimon say Mekadesh b'milva works. The question is whether you need a pruta left over or not, but they both hold it works. Ad kan, top line on Mem Zayin Amid Aleph. Ad kan like pligi ela demasava milva afagad l'shtaya meneshava pruta. Umasav l'shtaya meneshava pruta in v'loy l'shtaya meneshava pruta loy. Aval kuli alma Mekadesh b'milva mikudeshes kasha on Rav. Amarava the Tizbra Mistaratztehi. You said this what is Mistaratz, that is Bryce that you're asking on Rav is a correct script. Hamishtabeshtahi. It's corrupt. It's not correct. And I'll prove it to you. Hamishtabeshtahi. Hi Pikadon Hechidami. This Pikadon that you entrusted her to watch, and you found that it was stolen or lost. Either Kibbalach Rayas, if you Makabalach Rayas to return it intact. So now, what happens, guys, when it's stolen? That money, that what it's worth, what does it become? It becomes a milva, right? He has to return it. If you makabalach rayas on this pikadon, it's returnable. You're going to have to return it. If you makabalach rayas on this pikadon, you're going to have to return the pikadon. Correct? So what's the money left over? It's the milva. Look at Rashi, fourth line down. Haina milva kimin shenignav v'nischayev boy. Since it was stolen, and he's chayev because he took a chrayas, nimsa milva etzla, the money that it's worth is a milva by him. The kivit by her. The kivin the tana b'milva af b'shalei nishtaya b'kudeshes pikad nami shalei nishtaya b'tiskadish be. Guys, outside. The first lashon of the brisa of pikadin, if it's missing, it's stolen. If you have leftover shava pruta, what? Mekudeshes. Milva, even if you don't have leftover shava pruta, mekudeshes. This pikadon, what are we speaking about? Let's say the pikadon was stolen, and you have leftover shava pruta. So it was worth 10. She owes him 9. She owes him 9, correct? So be'emes, it's a case of halva. And nonetheless, you're telling me I dove on a share. And you're telling me you need leftover shor pruta. And in the next line, you're telling me milva, you don't need anything left over. It's contradictory. I turned that clause A pikadon into milva because you took achrayas and you have to pay up, and you say you need leftover. Then you say milva, you don't need leftover. So obviously it's corrupt. In other words, so let's go the other way. Pikadon, it's totally intact. Good? It's Pikadon, it's totally intact. It's totally there, yeah? And therefore, you have leftover shor pruta. The whole thing is there. What happens if the whole thing's not there? Right? Then you wouldn't need leftover shor pruta. So because it's a milva, if it was stolen. So if the price is correct, why would I need the whole case of milva at all? I can tell me both Kidushin in case pikadon. Remember, we've said many times, the Brisa Mishnah will only tell you something that it wouldn't know from the other case. Or else we'll say, Liflug v'lisna b'dida. Let's make the chilik in itself. Here's pikadon, guys. Here's pikadon. Let's say it's left over totally. Great. Mekudeshes. Let's say it's not left over. But then it's alva. If it's alva, then you don't need anything left over, correct? So why do you have to tell me the case of milva, that nothing left over? You could have told me the case in the first case. That's the Gemara. That shows you it's mishtabeshta. Says the Gemara inside. Let's see it. Hi pikadon echidami. Either kibbel le'achrayis, hainu milva. Either like kibbel le'achrayis, ihachi aditana seifa uve milva. Afa pishlin ishtari meneshav pruta mikudeshes niflug v'nisni b'dida. Let's make the chilik what in her herself by pikadon. The medavar mamurim. When do you need something left over? Is shaloi kibbel le'achrayis. That's who wanted kibbel le'achrayis to make into alva. But if you did make it into alva, even if nothing was left over mikudesh, so why would you have to tell me the case of milva? In other words, let's do it quickly. Clause A and clause B. Clause B is totally extraneous because I can hear clause B in clause A. In clause A, I can make the chilik. If it's left over, great. If it's not left over, it's also great. I don't need anything left over. Why? Because it's a milva, and milva you don't need anything left over. Correct? So therefore, why would you need clause B to tell me a milva you don't need anything left over? You can hear it in clause A. So obviously, what? It's mishubeshta. Obviously, it's a corrupt brisa. Ella tiritzachi. Here's the way you have to answer the brisa. Uba milva. So pikadon, guys, you need what? Left over. Pikadon, you need left over. Uba milva. Even if you have left over, ain't a mukudeshes. You know why? Because milva lav sudnitna, and even if you have left over, who cares? Nothing. Milva ain't mukudeshes like Rav. And Shimon Allah Meya, milva hariu kipikadin. Milva is like a pikadin. You need left over or not. Okay? But everyone holds, guys, milva is what? Is ain't mukudeshes. Milva is like sudnitna. Milva like sudnitna. But my kamiflagi, what are they arguing in? But my kamiflagi, right? What are they arguing? Let's see Rashi. But my kamiflagi, ibelite sudnitna pligi saif kitanoi or Rav Shmaitza. In other words, I can easily explain the brisa, guys. Guys, watch. Here's the way we're learning Prat in the brisa. Says the Tanakama, pikadon works if you have something left over. Milva, even if you have something left over, doesn't work. Says Rav Shimon, milva, if you have something left over, does work. So I can explain the brisa according to Rav, but I don't want to. Tanakama says it doesn't work, even if you have left over. Milva light sun inu. Rav Shimon ben Elazar says it does work if you have something left over. Milva lav light sun inu. But if you do that, then Rav is machlokes tanoim. He's not coming according to everybody. So we want to make the brisa come out according to Rav. To make the brisa come out according to Rav, we need one clause. Milva lehoit sunitna. Once milva light sunitna, everything works. Good? So now, says Rashi, v'ka'amri, next Rashi, la'olam light sunitna. La'olam milva is for the purpose of using it. Divrei akol. Everyone would hold what? Everyone. Even if Shimon Elazar would say you're not mikudeshes. So what's the machlokes? Let's do it outside. Let's do it outside. When you go ahead and make a kinyan, there's one point in time where there's no backsies. You bought your house. There was that deed in front of you. And the deed that you're going to sign that you're going to pay for the next 30 years, your life basically is mortgaged, to pay a mortgage. If you sign your name, there's no going back. It's finished. That's it. It's done. Before you sign your name, okay? Let's say you would sign your name, and let's say you never, ever took the money. The bank gave you the money, you said, no, I don't want the money. I don't need the money. I don't want the money. There's a svar to say that I don't know the money. It never, or no. Once you signed it, the money is yours, and you could say everything you want to say, but the money's yours. When you give a halva, you give the money to somebody, there's a possible distinction. When does it become the loiva's money? As soon as he takes it, or as soon as he uses it? As soon as he takes it, or as soon as he uses it? As soon as he takes it, so regardless of him using it, milvalite satninu, it's ein mekudeshes. Later of Shimon ben Elazar, no. Milva Havayut could be caught, and you know when? When you never used it at all. The money was given to you. It's that same $100 bill, the same serial number. It's right there. Since I didn't use it, it's still in my rishus. It's in your rishus physically, but since you didn't use the money yet, it's still in the malvis rishus. Memela says with Shimon Elazar, you could be mekadesh b'milva. Milva light son nitna as long as you use it. Once you use it, then even if you use, a guy gave you $10,000 and you used 5 cents of it, let Rishon Elazar inu mekudeshes. Why? Once you use the 5 cent, automatically the remaining 9,900 goes to you. Like the Tanakama, even before you use it, goes to you. So it comes out very geshmak according to Rav. In Achanami milva light sun and a mekadesh milva in mekudeshes. Why? But Reb Shimon ben Elazar says that milva havayu pikadon. It's in the same situation as pikadon. Just like pikadon is intact, so to the halva is intact. You never used it. That's the explanation. Let's see it inside. But my kamifli, what's as far as the machloikus between the Tanakam of Shimon and Elazar? And again, guys, you don't want to say that it's milba light sudden or lav light sudden, because then Rav is not going to come out according to Shimon Elazar, and he wants to come out according to everybody. Amar Rabba ashkachsinu l'rabbanan b'bei Rav. I found the rabbanan in the yeshiva of Rav, the Yasvi v'Kamri, they were sitting and they were saying the milva b'shus bailam l'chazara v'uadin lo'insin kamifli. We're speaking about a milva who's in the b'shus of the Baal regarding chazara v'uadin lo'insin kamifli. The Masa, but the Tanakama holds, Milva B'Rishus Leiva Kaima. Even though you didn't use it yet, it's in the Rishus of the Leiva. V'uadin Lo'insin. Even regarding Lo'insin, anything happened to it, it's in the Rishus of the Leiva. Well, Masava and Shimon Elazar holds Rishus Bailam Kaima. It's still in the Rishus of the Malva. So therefore, if he's Mekadesha with that money that he gave her and it wasn't used, she's Mekudeshes. For V'uadin Lo'insin, that she would not be Mechayiv Oinsin. Let's say something happens to it, she'd be Pata. If something happened to the money. V'amina Lahu. Okay, so in other words, that's what he heard to explain the machlokes. He's going to agree with it, but he's going to fine tune it. The Aminal Rabbi said to the Talmidim, even Reb Shimon ben Elazar would say that regarding Oinsin, it's still in the Rishus, it's in the Rishus of the Leiva. Even though you didn't use it yet, it's in the Rishus of the Leiva. Regarding Oinsin, my timer, like Gora Mishela, it's not worth them borrowing a utensil to use. Ma sheila the hodja be'ena chayev b'oinsin. Just like sheila, you return it, you chayev b'oinsin. Milva like kol shekain madach sheila, guys, which you have to return that object you chayev b'oinsin. Milva, which even that object you don't return, you have to return another object like kol shekain, right? Sheila, you have to return the exact same thing. Ma shein milva, forget about that thing. You always have to return the money wherever it is. Certainly, you should be chayev b'oinsin. So he disagreed regarding that prat. He didn't disagree what we needed for, which is what? Whose rishus is it in regarding Bailas? Did I give you something? Like the Tanakama, it's in the rishus of the Leiva. You gave me nothing. Like the Reb Shimon Elazar, since she didn't use the money yet, it's in the rishus of the Malva. If he goes ahead and gives it to her, she's mekudeshes. Elahacha milva b'rishus bailam l'chazara ekebinayo. Right? Good. Now that. You borrow an axe. If you use the axe, you're chayiv b'oinsin. If you don't use the axe, you're not chayiv b'oinsin. Let's say it's totally in machlokes tanoim, right? Says the Gemara, loy, I can like pligi el b'milva, but that's the machlokes whether you use it or not. The loy hodja be'ena, because you're not bringing it back. Al b'sheila the hodja be'ena dibyakol. Everyone says that you're going to return it the same axe. Bikaba, if you use the you crack, you hack with the axe in, like bikaba light, they're not like cutter. Okay, I'm gonna stop over here because this Gemara goes to what? To the next Daf. Hopefully, I'll be on later today. It's a crazy day. Let's see. Hopefully, if not, somewhere along the line, we'll always catch up. Okay, we'll always catch up. If I have to do 2 shiur might yontif, I will. So. Have a safe day. Have a great yontif. Everyone should enjoy the yontif. Simchas yontif. Zman simchaseinu. Don't let the weather get you down. It's mamish the Yetzer Hara trying. We're not going to let it.
Have a safe trip.
Right. Safe travels. Safe travels. Have a great yontif.
Avrami, you let me know. Avrami, you
the best way to